And I just think we need to laugh. I mean, the books are entertaining. That's the goal.
Well, you know, and not to disparage any of the characters, but it was definitely a Philadelphia flavor to this book that perhaps is even more so than maybe some of the previous ones.
Right. I think that's really true, and thank you for saying it.
And that's why I wanted to introduce you as Philly's own kind of thing, you know, because I said, man, the Philly roots are coming out here.
Totally. Right here, the black. No, I mean, you know, the truth is, I care most about, in thrillers, any kind of novel, character. Just like I like people. I'm happy to see you. And the character has to be grounded somewhere. And since I've lived in Philadelphia all my life, I ground the characters there. And what happens is if you write about something with sort of a ring of authority, people get it. And they extrapolate it to their neighborhood. Cleveland, Boston, Huntsville, whatever it is. People are the same all over. And if I just give a little bit of Philly cheesesteak thing going, they get it.
Well, you have to admit, our studio is located on Columbus Boulevard, outside of Philadelphia, which is in South Philly, really. And there is a scene that takes place literally a hop, skip, and a jump from my office. And as I'm reading this, I have such a picture in my mind. And I know what it's like for people who, you know, live in Boston or DC or Baltimore, and you have a thriller set there. But this one, for anybody in the Philadelphia area, is they are going to read this and they're going to say, I know exactly where this is.
You are such a careful reader. I knew it so funny because I was driving down here going,
well, I was thinking of Delaware River, thinking, oh man, yuck.
That's why I was like, the last time I came down here, it was nighttime, and I had to wait for rain, and it's really scary.
I'm telling you, you go like 500 yards that way, and you're going to see exactly where this character takes place.
You're absolutely right. You know, I had to find like a place where murder could be committed. Great.
Boy, well, yeah,
that's a lot.
Like this. That's a lot for the studio.
They attacked the cameraman. It's great.
Yeah, I know. He's a tough dude over there with that camera on his shoulder there. Okay, so we find out that we don't really know people perhaps as well as we think. You were talking about the twin doesn't know herself as much, but the surrounding cast of characters is somewhat surprised as well. And that really got me thinking, I don't know whether you intend for people to think when they're reading the books or just being entertained, but I started thinking, gosh, I wonder really, how well do we know? Would I know if you were Lisa Scottolini's identical twin? I would think I would know, but you're sitting here and you could be Lorraine. I wouldn't really know that, would I?
No. I mean, well, you know, that's a really good point, because I'm constantly, since I'm sort of a naif and I love people and I never think anyone lies and blah, 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 but look at the world we live in. Would you have thought Tiger Woods would be the person that he appears to be? Because I used to think he was different, and now
Maybe it was his evil twin that did all of those horrible things. He could use a little Lisa Scottolini excuse there, okay? When you hear that stuff, or the Sandra Bullock stuff with the allegations about her husband, Jesse James, and all of that, do you think to yourself, man, I couldn't even write this stuff, it's so bad.
Oh, I know, it's so hokey, and it's so, but it really is that lesson. I think every day we learn. Look at Madoff. Look at all these smart people. And I mean, if I had the kind of dough, I probably would have been handing it over too. Who do you really know somebody? I mean, I'm divorced twice, so I'm not the person to ask. But I think in answer to your question, I think it's a really good question, and it lurks in this book too. It just does.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but our conversation with Lisa Scottolini is going to continue. We're going to talk more about her latest book, Think Twice, and we'll talk about some of the other characters and what else she has going on. Stick around. It's Your Call continues. We're going to the dogs here.
Transportation for It's Your Call guests provided by Preferred Car and Limousine.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lynn Doyle. This is It's Your Call, and I am delighted to welcome back to the show Lisa Scottolini. I know you know who she is. She's a best-selling author, has 17 books to her credit. You may also read her column Chicklet in the Philadelphia Inquirer, as I do, and I always enjoy it because you have a unique perspective on the way women look at things.
Well, it comes with the ovaries, you know.
But you find a way to kind of take an issue that's a serious issue, put a little spin on a humorous spin on it, but there's always a message in each of your columns.
Well, thank you for that. I hope that's true. I mean, I really try. I started writing them because I kind of miss Irma Bombeck, in truth. You know, and even though we're all so well informed and politics and the war and the economy, I sort of wanted a soft place to land in the newspaper that was a little bit more about a woman's point of view, how we hate Spanx because we hate Spanx.
And yet cannot live without them after a certain age.
Well, there is that. and so that's sort of my I just want to make people laugh.
It's so funny that you mentioned the Spanx. Have you seen the Wanda Sykes comedy special that's on HBO?
Yes.
And she talks about she got her Spanx on and couldn't get them off.
I love Wanda.
She was so uncomfortable in them. And I think, why do we do that to ourselves?
We need to speak out. Well, the problem with the Spanx is that once you get them up, it just keeps rolling your fat upwards. It's just going to explode out of your face. It's awful.
And I love when she talks about Esther, which is supposed to be estrogen, but she has nicknamed it Esther because she's perimenopausal or menopausal or whatever. But it's fun to have someone who can look at the issues that women have to deal with and make us smile, because you know that we tend to take ourselves far too seriously, and we think that things that are happening are only happening to us. So when we read your columns or we see ourselves in the books, we say, oh, okay, I get it. Other gals are going through this too.
Well, you're sweet to say that. I mean, the truth is, I always sort of think of it as no subject is too small. I mean, I get great email, like you say, with Facebook and Tweet and everything like that. And I wrote a column on, this is embarrassing, but why not? On like chin hair, because I found my first chin hair that was gray. Oh, I would just shoot myself. I'm like, oh no. You know, do I need like just for men or just for old men, or what is going on? I'm telling you, of all the email, I get a lot of email, that was the one. That was it. People are sending me tweezers. People are sending me skin creams. I'm like, and my daughter is horrified. You know, Francesca, because she writes some of the columns too, and they're in the books as well. And she's like, Mom, we do not care about your crusty feet. But the truth is, I think for women, there's a little bit of pressure on us in society. We've got to look good. The kids have got to be ready. The dinner's got to be ready. The dogs have to be groomed. Everything's got to be vacuumed, and you have to work too. And it's a little bit like, you know what? Sometimes we just need to laugh at this stuff.
Right.
Like a pair of Spanx is the last thing we need at the end of the day. You know? Do
you have it written down someplace that if you're ever like in need of medical care, they must take care of the chin hair? I'm always looking I have a friend who actually wrote that down in her legal papers. Okay, I want to make sure that my nails are done.
Right.
My roots are never showing, and that my chin hairs are taken care of.
Tell my embalmer. You know, people could be looking from underneath.
Yeah, because if it's some man taking care of it, they're not going to look for those kinds of things.
Well, I remember I was in the emergency room once because my dogs got in a fight, not a surprise, and they bit my finger, and I ended up in the emergency room braless, and I was like, this is a nightmare. I don't care if my hand falls off, but I'm braless.
And you didn't get a date?
No, at my age. They were like, oh my God, it's an accident.
What are you here for?
Yeah, leave.
Is it your hand or what? We have an emergency on our hands here. Okay, let's talk about how this book compares in your mind. I told you right at the onset that I couldn't put it down.
You're so sweet.
And I do find that your books are the type that I am attracted to. Like I like a little mystery, I like a little comedy, I like a little love affair in there every once in a while. So it's got the perfect combination for me. How do you think this one compares to your previous ones? Do each one get a little bit easier to write, or do you ever find yourself, oh gee, I already did this, I have to eliminate that?
No, I think I sort of get an idea every year, and I think they don't get easier to write. But this one is different. I think it is the most out there. I mean, it is the most out there.
Yeah, it is a little out there for you.
It's dark. Parts of it
That's a word.
Look at me, I'm so sunny. But, you know,